what is the significance of June 7th?
There's a couple things. One, it's my start date at Broad River was June 7th, 2021. But there's a backstory to that. So I was working a job, and it was kind of a toxic environment. I was looking to get out of there. My wife was also working a job that was very stressful, so she started looking as well. We both got job offers, and our start date was the same, June 7th, 2021. But that date is also our anniversary, so it definitely has some special significance.
That's a double, triple significant date.
Yeah.
You guys, your work anniversaries and your anniversaries have now become a union.
Yes.
Hey, James, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Join Charlie Maloof as he explores the personal journeys of Broad River Retail's very own memory makers. Welcome to Stories from the River.
Stories from the River. We're here with James Thomas, our senior manager of the IT help desk, who runs all things IT and has made us so much better and smarter with our infrastructure and our network. James, it's great to have you on here to share your unique story with us. Before we begin, can you tell us a little bit about you, your background, and your career prior to coming to the River?
Sure. So I have how much time do we have? I have a pretty broad IT background. I started on the support side. And so this is going all the way back when I was living in Massachusetts. And so I moved to Cary, North Carolina in 2006.
Okay.
And so during that time, I was doing a lot of IT support, help desk support, just more support roles. It's not. I didn't transition into the management side until 2013 when we moved to Charlotte. So IT support all the way up into 2013, and then from 2013 to now, it's been more IT management.
Did you seek management, or did it seek you?
So there's two people I need to give credit to for the management piece. One is my wife. She was totally fine with me doing the support role. But I think she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And she's like, you ever thought about management? And I was like, no, it's not really my thing. I don't want to be in meetings and all this stuff, whatever. And in 2013, I took a role. Quick shout out to Jake Farmer. He's my former manager at Campus Crest Communities. He was building out the IT department. He was the IT director at the time. And he was looking at me, man, just conversations with him. He was like, man, you could do so much more. Like, he was like, you should be managing, you should have your own team, yada, yada, yada. So those two people definitely helped open my eyes to what I should be doing instead of what I was doing.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. So you've been here about 17 months, so less than a year and a half, or by the time this airs, probably 18 months.
Yeah.
And so it's not been that long. Do you remember your first day your day one with Broad River?
Yeah, yes and no. So my first day, so the idea, and I don't even know if you know this, I'm sure you do. So originally I was going to have kind of a hybrid role where I would oversee the IT help desk. And then in addition to that, kind of be Travis's senior system administrator. I was going to be his backup. Okay. So, my first couple of days, I started shadowing Travis, and it was like drinking from a fire hose, man. And so we were taking road trips because I came on right in the midst of a lot of store openings. And so I remember my first day, but it
was a blur.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
And so you're now only overseeing the help desk.
Yes.
You're not doing the Travis part, the senior system admin part.
That's correct. Well, maybe indirectly. I mean, I work with Travis and Lee and Tim and the whole rest of the crew, but yeah.
Okay. Well, why did you choose the River? Why did you choose to come to Broad River?
So honestly, I actually had two offers out, and Broad River was one. I won't name the other company, but I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I was looking, and I'm not saying this because you're sitting across from me, but leadership is really important to me. And so I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I was looking at how you conducted yourself and how, Manny conducted himself. And I was looking at the culture. I was looking at the beliefs. And then when I interviewed and I went into Tiger River at headquarters, and I'm looking at the core values and the beliefs, it was a no-brainer.
Come on now. Come on. So
I mean,
a little shout out to the podcast. I like that. I didn't even ask you to say that. I didn't know you were going to say that.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad that worked out like that. And you've got a great leader in Harold, and you work with other great leaders in IT. I'm sure we'll talk about that, your whole team. Have you always enjoyed IT-related work and serving other internal groups via a help desk support system?
Yes.
Why?
So I'm a giver and a server, and I'm a resource person. Like all those terms kind of like line up with the way that I think. And so to be in a support role, it's just kind of natural for me.
Okay.
And then I love anything IT. And that's sometimes, I mean, we don't have time now, but I'll show you on my phone. I could start my wash machine, my lawnmower, my grill. Like
you start your grill.
I can do everything from my phone.
I love it.
Anything IT, like I'm all over it.
So what else do you love about your job today? Like about what you get to do?
So I didn't know this coming in, but one of my real strong points is, the whole ITIL mindset, process improvement. And so I'm constantly looking for, I guess, a gap and the best way to fill it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. Life at the river. What has life been like at the river for you from your vantage point? Has it met your expectations, and what has surprised you?
It's kind of held up to what it was advertised as. So a lot of times, even like in dating, you get the representative up front, and then as the relationship goes on, the true person comes out. But I mean, everything, you hear about the culture, you hear about leadership, you hear about their love for their employees and that kind of stuff. And it's been true. So, yeah.
Well, I get that, but has there been anything that has surprised you? It could be in a good way.
Definitely the workload. We're busy.
Okay.
We're busy.
I do like to hear that, man.
Yeah.
There's no slacking around here.
No.
When you said you joined when we had some store openings, I think we opened 4 stores back to back that summer, last summer, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep count on.
I told Harold I like a challenge, but yeah.
Well, you came in at the right time. We have slowed it down a little bit, though. What departments does the help? Maybe it's the calm before the storm. We'll see. We'll see what we can do to keep you busy. What departments does the help desk support the most? I'm assuming the stores and the retail team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's like the easiest answer you're going to have to.
Yeah. That's low hanging fruit. Yeah.
Were you heavily involved with Project Seahawk and the Coastal Connection?
Yeah. So any of the new store openings, there's a lot of IT logistics that go into it, especially with supply chain issues at the time. It used to be 2 weeks to get equipment in, and that 2 weeks went to 3 months. And so if you're opening a store, you got to think about, all the IT equipment that we're going to need to open that store. So it was a lot of just kind of like forecasting and making sure we had everything ready to go.
Even for the 2 stores we acquired in Wilmington? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because we converted them over to all of our equipment.
Well, let's go into new store openings. How involved are you in I don't know how many we've had in the last 18 months that you've had your hands in, but how involved are you for those?
So my team, we're pretty involved. So Travis kind of takes it. I like to say he brings the internet circuit or the network circuit into the location, and then everything that connects to it, we have some input in that.
Okay. And then I'm sure it's a little bit more than some input.
It is,
okay. You're downplaying it, man. You're being so modest. This is your podcast. You can't be modest on your own podcast. All right. So, James, we also opened up our 3rd distribution center, Spartan Ridge.
Yeah.
And so recently, how challenging was that set up and opening from an IT help desk perspective?
It wasn't too much of a challenge in terms of what we had to do. I think the time crunch, because it was kind of like fighting 3 wars at the same time. So we were busy over here, and then we had to kind of divvy it up and make sure that we got Spartan Ridge taken care of. But everything came together. We didn't miss any deadlines.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. And how's it doing now?
It's great.
Awesome. No problems, no bugs, no issues.
No.
Love it. So we recently completed a major upgrade by replacing our entire phone system, and we switched to Ring Central. I know Travis worked a good bit on that project. How involved were you in the IT help desk with that?
So getting the actual physical, of course, Travis was amazing with that whole project. It's kind of a one-man army sometimes, but once he got everything stood up on the back end, me and my team, we went out to all the retail stores and actually swapped out the old Mitel equipment with the Ring Central equipment, tested everything, made sure everything came online. And so we was definitely heavily involved with getting that set up.
I did download the Ring Central app.
Yes.
I still need to, I'm going to need y'all's help at some point to get my phone system the right way. You can put me last on the list. What impact will the upgrade to Ring Central have on our telephony infrastructure?
It's huge. I think we're basically going to do away with desk phones, except for like conference rooms and things like that. And you actually just touched on it. You could put the Ring Central app on your phone and just have it, direct dial to your cell phone. Like it's a complete game changer.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you tell us about, you said your team went to every store or every location with this upgrade. Tell us about your team on the help desk. How large is it? Who are they?
Oh man, I love my team. Currently we have 6. So in Fort Mill, we have Ben Birch, we have Saram Un, and then we have an IT intern, Kevin Burrows. And then in Four Oaks, we have 2 out there. We have Tyler Lee Farrell and Ben Nichols. And then in Spartan Ridge, we have 1, and that's Colton Boggs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what are the hours of operation for support?
Let's see, Monday through Friday is 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then on Saturdays it's 10 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then on Saturdays it's 12 to 6.
Or Sundays?
Sundays it's 12 to 6.
Got it. Awesome. So you're open when the stores are open?
Yes.
Yeah, and or when people are at work. Got it. It's a lot of hours to cover with just 6 people.
Yeah.
And how many direct reports do you have?
6.
So they all directly report to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a pretty flat org. All right, James, so tell us about your leadership style.
So it's funny, that answer coming from me might be different than coming from my team.
We'll get them on here eventually and we'll ask them.
But I like to think I'm not a micromanager. So, coming up and doing the support piece, I know what worked for me and what didn't work for me. Mm-hmm. And so I try to implement a lot of that into my management style or my leadership style.
Like what?
And so, my guys, I give them the latitude to just, as long as they're producing and then, we put the task out there, we put the work out there, mm-hmm. and they're getting it done. I'm not nitpicking over the little stuff. Or as a wise man once say, I don't major over the minors.
Don't major over the minors. I got it. So if I were to ask, Thomas or Ben or Sarum, or Tyler or Kevin, what would the other members of the help desk, in your opinion, have to say about your management or leadership style?
So I'm going to answer that 2 ways. One, I would hope that they would say, I'm easy to work for and I'm a great manager and all that. 2, I would hope that they would say, I hope that they look at me the way I look at Harold.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how do you look at Harold?
So quick, funny story. So I went in his office he's amazing. I went in his office one day and I closed the door and I said, listen, in the most manly way possible, I really love you, man. He's like, I love you too. He said, I love you too, Yeah, so I do.
Well, what do you love about Harold? Like, what did he do? What compelled you? And I get it. It's in the manly way possible. So I'm not judging.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a pure form of love, love of another human being or a person. But what did he do to was the catalyst to catalyze you to say, I love you, man? So
there's being friendly and there's being a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And he's I consider him a friend, and he's at his core, he's just a good person.
Yeah.
And that's not even the work stuff. You bring the work stuff in, I mean, he's sharp, he knows what he's doing, he supports me and my team, like whatever we need. He pushes me on it a little bit, but once I present my case, he's kind of like, okay, we could go with it. So
well, and he's got a pretty good sense of humor. He's pretty quick-witted.
Yeah.
When you think he may not be, like, we got to get him on the podcast. But I would tell you, do you think Harold has mellowed out more as he's progressed through his career?
Definitely.
Because I would tell you, he probably would have pushed you a lot harder maybe 20 or 30 years ago.
Definitely.
I think his leadership style has certainly grown. Okay. So you talked about your team and you said, hey, in Fort Mill and Four Oaks and Spartan Ridge, what's the situation on your team as it pertains to work from the office versus remote work?
We've went to a hybrid model. I mean, that's the day that, we're living in right now. So basically at all times, we need at least one person from IT on site at all of our locations, other than Spartan Ridge, because they don't physically have, office space for an IT person. But Four Oaks and Fort Mill, during the core business hours, you should be able to walk through and get an IT person.
Monday through Friday, or
Monday through Friday,
Monday
yes.
through Sunday?
Monday through Friday.
Okay.
So Saturday, we're still on, but we're remote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you. And so if it's one person, the other two are working from home.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
And do you primarily work remotely or from the office?
I'm hybrid too, but I'm almost in the office every day, just because I feel like it's important. It's important for my guys to see me.
Yeah.
Like I never ask them to do anything I don't do myself. So
How long is your commute?
oh boy, some people aren't gonna like this. It's like 10 minutes.
That's good. You probably that's good.
yeah.
Which do you prefer? You prefer working from the office versus working from home?
I like the hybrid approach.
Okay.
I'm always on, so but when I'm home, it doesn't feel like it as much. So I could work long hours and it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And so
Okay. How is it managing a remote workforce from a leadership accountability? Sorry, I can't say that. And the coaching perspective.
so it's easy when you have the right team in place.
So you spend more of your time making sure you make the right hire or have the right people on the bus.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. But then after that though, I get that it's easy, but what are like some of the things that you do to make it easy?
Like the tools, like
Yeah,
teams and
yeah.
things like that. Yeah. So we
Or the
have,
processes or the schedule or the check-ins.
so we kind of have a split shift. So we have someone who works nights and weekends, and then we have a core group that works the Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the thing that I love about my team is all the guys are flexible. So if one guy's on PTO, or one guy has to do this or whatever, I always I don't know their schedules, in terms of family and whatever. And so I just throw it out to them and let them know what the business needs are. And typically they'll raise their hand and say, hey, I could jump in and work that shift or
That's
whatever.
great.
And so, yeah.
That's when you got the right leader, the right level of engagement. And you're not having to force people, oh, I can't believe he's asking me to work. No, this is what the business needs. And
Right.
we're going to do what we need to support the business. That's a great way to have it. So how much do you interface day to day with the other members of the IT and business intelligence team? Harold, Lee, Travis, Tim Subkowiak, Gabrielle, et cetera.
Daily.
Yeah.
Yes.
And why would you interface with Tim Subkowiak daily?
So it's
Or Lee Vang?
okay. So it's always something different. So just take like Black Friday coming up. I'm trying to put together a schedule for my guys to make sure that there's adequate coverage during the busy times. And so I was working with Lee, and he was giving me reporting on traffic from last year. Then you fast forward to Travis, like it might be something to do with Ring Central. We're doing our IT site visits. And he can say, hey, when your guys go out there, can you make sure they check for this?
Yeah.
And then, same thing with Tim. It could be something. So Tim, it's not always with him. I love that guy too, by the way.
He's been on the podcast.
Yeah. So it's not always stories. People think like it's just stories, but Tim has a wealth of knowledge. And so like sometimes I work with him like on policy committee type stuff and just other things, that supply chain things. And so
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, he started in customer service, went to supply chain, now is in IT, overseeing our stores, our ERP system, and also is, I think, the head of the policy committee.
Yeah.
So it's phenomenal. Great guy. So you talked about Harold and that you said, man, I love you, man. And how has his leadership impacted or influenced you?
So I don't care how good you think you are. When you stop working with someone like Harold, you know that you kind of have a ways to go. I strive to be like him in the work sense. Like he just, his professionalism, his knowledge, like his approach to IT is I'm not saying he doesn't get worked up, But man, he should win an Oscar for the way he handles it, because he never comes unglued. Like, he just always has the right answer. Like, I just love that about him.
Give me a story that kind of personifies that. Something may have gone wrong and he responded in a way that, hey, we'll get, I mean, I'm assuming.
So, I mean, there's a couple. So one, this doesn't even have to do with work, okay? I actually, and I don't even know why I'm sharing this. It's probably TMI, whatever, but I actually got another job offer, and I was torn, and I didn't know who to talk to. I talked to my wife, of course, you know, and I actually went and talked to Harold, who's my manager. Most people were like, dude, are you nuts, you know? Yeah. But he said, you know, typical Harold, come in, close the door, have a seat, you know? And we just kind of went down the pros and cons and just kind of threw things out or whatever. And he gave me like really, really good advice, you know? And so, I mean, I'm still here. And so that tells you, you know, and I basically told him, I said, dude, you're the X factor. I was like, as long as you're here, I'm here. Like, I truly love working for and with Harold. Like, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's okay. And I'm sure the advice was straight down the middle, things to consider and weigh pros and cons. And I'm sure he wasn't trying to sell himself,
right.
But just because care for you. Like, here's what I would do if I was you, and maybe how you should, some of the ways you should frame it up. It is good to trust your leader that you can go and have those type of conversations. And to be a trusted leader like that, you know, that, hey, even if they might leave you, you're not going to judge them for it. A job offer was out there. Let's have a conversation about it. So, okay, let's get to know you. Let's dig in a little bit deeper, pull some of the layers back here. I've got an icebreaker question for you. I like to ask this on the podcast if you've seen some of them.
Okay.
Fast forward to you're into your retirement days, and you're sitting on your rocking chair, maybe drinking your sweet tea or lemonade, whatever your beverage of choice is at that time, and you're reflecting back on the good old days, and you're reflecting back on how you want to be remembered and described. What 3 words do you want people to say about you to describe you and maybe the impact you had on them?
Just 3 words, or how do I want to be remembered? Because it's different.
Just 3 words.
Okay, so 3 words.
We can do the other one next if you want.
Okay. 3 words, definitely high character, integrity, and this isn't really like a single word, but a love for people.
I'm gonna not hold you to account for the like seven words or whatever it was there. High character, integrity, and love for people. Well, then you kind of teed me up on this. How do you want to be remembered?
I definitely want to be remembered for being a man who loved God, loved my wife, loved my family, loved my friends, and having some type of positive impact in all their lives.
Sounds like a great life, full life.
Yeah.
Well, you can't create that life without some intentionality in how you design it, specifically even with like your habits. So what are your best daily habits and how do they serve you or serve you well?
It's easy, mind, body, and spirit. So, some type of daily prayer, meditation, some type of physical exercise, and something to sharpen the brain. So,
and do you ever take days off? Do you do something for your mind, your body, your spirit every day?
I try to, yeah. Every day. Something.
Awesome. Do you have a morning ritual?
Yeah, that's it. Like prayer and meditation to start the day, or typically that and exercise to start the day.
What's your exercise of choice, if I may ask?
Okay, you promise not to laugh?
Well, I don't know if I can promise that. I don't know what you're going to say. I will try not to laugh.
Yoga. I'm a yogi. I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't there a place called like a hot yoga thing now too?
There's hot yoga, there's vinyasa, there's all different types. Root, surrender.
Do you have a favorite type of yoga?
Right now, I'm liking something. It's called hatha. It's a slower, more intentional, but they heat the room up, and you have to hold a pose. And people think it's it's not just sitting around doing a bunch of heavy breathing. It's tough.
What made you get into yoga?
So I was having back problems maybe like 5 years ago, and so I did the whole chiropractor thing, physical therapy, cortisone shot, and all that, and nothing worked. And so, I'm looking at some of these professional athletes, and a lot of them do yoga. They just don't talk about it because they're too busy being macho, right? And I was like, well, what do I have to lose? And so I go in, I started taking it. Now I'm like a rubber band. That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to take it. My sister does.
Flexibility is huge.
My sister does yoga, and I think she puts all her yoga videos on YouTube or what have you. But okay, well, maybe you can take me with you to a yoga class.
I would love it.
We'll try it out. All right, mentorship. Mentorship is so important. Where or from whom do you get your mentorship?
That would be, so when I came out of tech school, my first job, I was hired at this small mom and pop computer company, and the IT manager there at the time, his name is Martin Pina. And I'm actually still friends with him today. And he's still in Mass. I'm originally from Boston, and he still lives in Mass, but he just kind of took me under his wings, kind of taught me the business, took an interest in me. And even now, today, like, I still kick ideas off him, thoughts off of him. He's definitely in the top 5 smartest people that I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so where do you get your inspiration and motivation? Where does that come from?
Inspiration and motivation. Part of that is just innate, is just in me. And the other part too, I would probably have to give my wife some credit on this one, just because she has such a high drive and high motor that sometimes just trying to keep up with her is like...
I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. If we bring you back, we're going to go more into how you guys met and all that kind of good stuff. So,
nice.
Maybe we'll have her on here. What do you think are or have been the secrets to your success, other than marrying well?
Marrying well, definitely. I would say hard work and consistency, definitely.
Showing up every day and doing the work.
Yeah.
So I know that it always takes a village to achieve success. You've mentioned Harold, you mentioned your wife. Who are some of the unsung heroes of your world? And tell us what they do or have done that help you or have helped you.
So I would say definitely some of my former managers. I've had some really good ones and I've had some really bad ones. But the bad ones weren't necessarily a bad thing. Looking back at it now, they actually helped me. Because again, like, now that I'm in a leadership or management role, I know what didn't work for me. And so I took some of those negative experiences and said to myself, I'll make sure I'm never that person.
You're learning what not to do, as long as learning learning what to do.
Yeah.
As long as you're always learning through whatever experience, and you can find the fruit in that experience. So that's great. What's the best advice you've ever received?
One of my managers told me, and so, anyone who does IT, you bounce around, right? So, do you want to do software development? Do you want to do networking? Do you want to be a sysadmin? Do you want to do... And so I was that same way. I was bouncing all over the place. I'm trying to learn everything. Anytime I could go back to school and take a class on something, I was doing it. And my manager looked at me and he said, you don't have to know everything. You just have to know where to get the answers. And it's just totally like slowed my thought process down. And I was like, what am I doing here?
A lot of times that's just go to Google.
Yeah, we call it tier 3, but yeah.
Tier 3?
Yeah.
Why is that?
So like right now, like, you have tier 1 support, tier 2 support, and there's really no tier 3, but Google's tier 3.
I got it. Okay, so now you have knowledge that you can share with others who are coming up in the ranks. So what leadership message or advice do you regularly share with others?
Don't be afraid to fail. Just like I was saying, like, the information's out there, so sometimes rather than just hitting the panic button, just do a quick Google search. Like, there's no reinventing the wheel. Like, the answer's out there. You just have to do a little digging sometimes. And
assess, is this a reversible or a really important decision? If no to either, if it is reversible and it's not that important, definitely don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Because you can always iterate and go back and redo it. Hey, what is one thing about Broad River that you think would surprise others from the outside looking in? Maybe a misperception or something.
I don't know what the outside perception is, because I'm a memory maker. I'm internal, but the whole culture and all that, like I said, it's not just smoke and mirrors. It's true. So, so if someone's looking online or reading some review on Broad River being this or that, and they don't believe it, then it's true. Okay. Yeah, you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. So I live it. So
what is something about you that would surprise your fellow memory makers?
What do you mean, like a hidden talent or something?
Yeah. Or a hidden talent would be one example.
So I have a love for music. I'm a drummer. I drum.
Okay.
I'm a big time foodie. I love to cook. In fact, I thought that's what I was going to do for work.
Really?
Yeah, I worked at a restaurant growing up, and I thought I was going to go to culinary and be a chef. So
What's your favorite food?
anything gourmet. Like I'm not a baker, but anything gourmet, hot and fast. Sauteing and like. I don't think there's anything I can't cook, and I'm not trying to be.
What's your favorite restaurant? Do you have a favorite restaurant in Charlotte or in general?
There's a couple. Bricktops is
Yeah,
one.
I like Bricktops.
Yeah. That just jumps out. Bentley's we like.
The original Bentley's was where we had our wedding reception.
That's where I proposed to my wife.
Hey, come on now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite music, by the way?
Believe it or not, I'm a jazz guy.
I was gonna say that.
That probably doesn't surprise you, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't Barack Obama big into jazz?
I'm not 100% sure, but that wouldn't surprise me either. I mean, it's such a refined music. Like it's.
I heard a speechwriter do a podcast recently, and he was so proud. He got his inauguration speech to Barack super early, and Barack said, "Come on in here, sit down." He was real cool, calm, and collected. And you listen to jazz music? And he's like, "No." He's like, "I want you to go." And he gave him someone to go listen to, and then go put a little bit of that into the speech because he was missing some of the emotion.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Okay. So our organizational purpose is furnishing life's best memories. Do you have a favorite Broad River story or memory that you haven't already mentioned that you can share with us?
Yeah, sure. So when I first started, like I said, we was right in the middle of multiple store openings, and so I started hitting the road with Travis. We were doing road trips, and I mean, it was a blast, man. We listened to podcasts, and we would just kind of. I mean, I'm 2 or 3 days in on the job, and I'm already on the road with this guy, and so. You're in the car with someone for 4 hours.
Yeah.
You get to learn a lot about them. So, we kind of closed the gap pretty quick.
I think that's pretty cool that you guys were listening to podcasts while you were in the car together. What podcast were y'all listening to?
Just anything. Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, just, man stuff, I guess. But yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I know we're biased, but we believe that our culture at the River is unique and really special. What is your favorite thing about our culture here at the River? And in your opinion, what is it that makes our culture special?
There's no exclusion, and so each month there's a different, ethnicity being represented or, you guys care about different organization, beds for kids and stuff. So, you give back, and I don't know, I just feel like you have a genuine love for people. And that's right. That's my DNA too. So that's why, yeah.
Yeah. How proud of you were that we received the Best Places to Work in America designation for the second year in a row, and one of only 10 companies to get it recently. What do you think that says about our culture, and what do you think it means for our people, and how, what is that? How proud are you of that?
I'm very proud, and I think it's huge because like I was saying earlier, you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. I live it, and so I know it's true. So to get that type of recognition, I think it's great.
That's awesome. What happens here that doesn't happen at other companies?
Part of what we're talking about. I've worked in some really toxic environments, which I won't go into.
Yeah.
But again, I'm glad I experienced that, and so now, I get to appreciate. This type of environment.
Yeah. There's something to be said for having that level of appreciation.
Right. I don't dread coming to work,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. So we're wrapping up 2022.
Yeah.
Our word of the year has been thrive. What does it mean for you to thrive?
I guess to just keep moving forward.
That's good.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you did that this year?
Oh, yeah.
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 And your team?
I think sometimes, and Harold and I was just talking about this. I think sometimes I have to slow down. It's like a professional athlete who's had a Hall of Fame career, but don't realize it until the end of his career, and he look back over it. So because I'm in it right now, I don't see it, but yeah.
I love it. Have you or your team attended many of the Thrive and Purpose sessions, either virtual or in person, like we had recently with Johan Kornhoff? And how have those been received, and what sort of impact have they had?
I've missed that last one, but I personally attend, and I think it's a great value, and I think the selection of peoples is great.
Yes, a wide spectrum. Well, we did record it, so you can access Johan's recording on demand, and we'll share that in the Currents or on SharePoint. If you could change one thing about the company today with the wave of a magic wand, what would it be?
I would probably wave the magic wand and have things be more proactive than reactive.
Yeah. I think anytime you can do more of that,
Yeah.
it's better. All right. Let's say that I'm retiring and I gave you the keys to the company and you're the new president and CEO of Broad River Retail. And guess what? Today's your first day in the new role. What would be your first order of business, James?
I would fire Harold. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No. I would probably give with leadership and do a needs assessment.
Okay.
And then I guess it'd be a trickle down effect from there.
See, everyone do needs assessments and then bubble that up to you.
Yeah.
Got it. Do you feel that working at the river has positively impacted your desire for personal growth and development?
Yeah.
How so?
I do. So like I was saying with the whole process improvement, like I'm always trying to figure out a way to build a better mousetrap.
Yeah.
And working here fosters that. And so it keeps me hungry. Like I'm never satisfied.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What book are you currently reading?
It's not necessarily a book, it's a podcast again. Does that still count?
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you one of your favorite podcasts. Let's do that.
It's 48 Laws of Power is one that I'm on right
48 Laws of Power?
now. Yeah.
What's that about?
It's more about being strategic.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a different way of thinking. I think you'll like it.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to link to that in the show notes.
Okay.
Send that to me. Text that to me after this if you don't mind. Hey, what show do you watch television shows?
Yeah.
Which ones are you currently watching or binge watching?
House of Dragons.
Oh yeah, you haven't finished it yet?
No.
It's good. It's interesting. The cinematography is really well done. Yeah. Hey, when you stop working for the day and have some time for yourself, what do you like to do for fun or to relax?
That's funny. So anyone who knows me knows that answer already.
Okay.
So I'm a diehard Bostonian. So any Boston Red Sox, Bruins, Celtics, Patriots, as long as one of my teams are on, I'm there with my feet up, checking out a game.
Do you remember Bill Spaceman Lee?
Bill Lee's a pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my good friends in grade school, that was his dad.
Oh, nice.
I grew up with him. Yeah. I know I've met Bill Spaceman Lee. He was quite a personality. That's my claim to fame to the Boston Red Sox.
Nice.
Hey, to someone who is not a memory maker and is thinking of coming to the river, what advice would you offer to that person?
Don't be so serious and just, work hard. It's that simple.
But what if they weren't here yet? That's what you would tell them if they joined, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if they weren't here yet and they were contemplating whether or not to join, what would you tell them?
I would tell them about the culture and make sure that they're a good culture fit because I feel like that's huge.
Okay. And for them to assess that.
Yeah.
Hey, is there anything else you wanted to say, James, before I let you off the hot seat here?
No. Thanks for having me.
It's been great. Thank you for coming on. Hey, before you go, I did ask a few folks of your fellow colleagues and memory makers about you. Can I read a few words of what they
boy. Is it positive?
We'll find out together.
Okay, all right. Let's do it.
What if it's not? I'm going to read it either way.
That's fine.
Feedback is a gift, James.
Yeah.
Hey, this is from, it'll be good. This is from Thomas Sullivan. James is a person who is exactly what you want as a manager. When it was just us two working help desk for a few months, he always made sure to put in just as much, if not more hours than I did. When searching for candidates to fill roles, he told me he was, quote, looking for guys who would walk through fire when necessary. And he showed that he was willing to do that for those he manages. The best encapsulation I can muster is this. He is a man with the attitude that fits this quote by John E. Lewis. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? So that's from Thomas.
I like that.
Hey, here's from Carl, who we just had on the podcast. Carl Hillisland. Have you ever heard the term GSD, get stuff done? For me, there's a picture of James that pops in my head every time I hear that phrase. James is a playmaker with the heart of a servant leader. He has an uncanny ability to identify and solve issues at the root level so they go away forever. His entire team respects him, and they are a direct reflection of him as they too strive for excellence. James, thank you for being a premier partner. I so appreciate you. from Anita Harris. First, James has done an awesome job creating structure and processes that make it so much easier for our team to interact with the IT help desk. He has been a great business partner. Secondly, he's a great guy. We hit it off from day one. I'm so happy he joined the Broad River family. And lastly, from Harold Hampton, James has built a first-class help desk team and leads them with passion and compassion. He has instituted high standards of performance through KPIs and analytics like we've never had before. And he's a really good dude. James, I'm so pleased that you're the leader of our IT help desk. You're looking at the analytics. You're making sure tickets get resolved quickly and promptly. Nothing ever bubbles up because things are just taken care of. Even if there's a supply chain issue with laptops or servers, you just figure it out. And that helps the rest of the people, Furnace Life Best Memories, the rest of our memory makers do their job. And so you lead with heart, compassion, servant leadership, and you're a great leader to your team and a great role model. So thanks for all that you do, and thanks for being on the podcast today.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, Happy New Year, and Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Thank you. Likewise.
Hey guys, that's the James Thomas episode. That's from Stories from the River. We bring you fresh new content every Wednesday. I think this is our December 21st episode. So this will take you off into the Christmas holidays and into the new year. And so we wish you all happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And hey, wherever if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe so you don't miss an episode, or mash that like button, or leave us a comment, or wherever you're listening. If you're on the go and you like Apple or Spotify, Amazon or Google, hey, subscribe or mash that like button and let us know how we can grow the podcast. And we're going to wrap up this year with one more episode, and then we're going to see what we can do to continue to take it to the next level in 2023. James, thanks so much.
Thank you.